makes Canada an attractive destination for newcomers, and what scope does the nation have?
This is a brilliant question. I think one of the main reasons that Canada is the favored destination of a lot of people because of two main things. First, a lot of people prefer the healthcare system, which is really one of the best in the world, and the education system. I know there are a lot of criticism and fallback, but when we're talking about the migration base, these are the two main things that when my clients are talking to me, they are really interested in: the education and the healthcare system. On top of that, Canadians are nice. We're really nice people. We're the nicest people in the world. That's why we have really good kind of quality of life and good reputation, especially compared to our southern neighbors.
What unique challenges do immigrants face when settling in Canada in 2025, and how do you help them overcome it?
There are a lot of challenges when newcomers coming. One of the first challenge is the culture shock. If we're talking, Canada is a compass for a lot of people from different parts of the world. So when we're talking about people from totally different culture, it will be taking some time to acculturate, and this is what's called the Canadian experience part. On the other hand, a credential qualification. So if a pharmacist is coming, if a physician is coming, we have to let them know that there is a path for a qualification. And this is what we help our clients with. We give them credible information, we give them the clear path, we give them a kind of a roadmap how to connect to a lot of the regulatory bodies. One of the important questions is your job is a regulated job or not? So we answer this question first and we help them with the process. Another thing is one of the main challenges that a lot of people face or face when they are coming is they don't have a credit score and they cannot rent a place to live in. So we connect them with real estate agents. They understand the process and they are willing to help. So we have a lot of value add services to our clients.
What are the chances of transitioning from a work visa to permanent residency in Canada? And what advice would you like to give your audience?
A lot of people may not know, but according to Stat Canada in 2021, 2023 too, 100% replenishment of the labor force is from newcomers, which means Canada needs a lot of labor. There is a lot of labor shortage. We are one of the largest land space in the world. We are the second largest country in the world after Russia, with a population of only 40 million. So this means there are a lot of opportunities. And for newcomers, there is a lot of scope, a lot of jobs to find. But we have to be clear about what are the priorities in the job market. There is what's called hidden job market. There is what's called Canadian experience. There is what's called a culture fit. So definitely a newcomer must speaks English well, must be able to be acculturated and being accepting others and being kind of a good communicator. And with all of that, they must to abide to the laws in their job and the labor law and gets familiarized with the labor code and different other laws. We help our clients at least find the right information.
What should someone do if they want to sponsor their spouse after obtaining permanent residency in Canada? And what are the red flags could delay or jeopardize a spousal visa application?
One of the first priorities of the IRBA, which is the Immigration Refugee Protection Act, is family reunification. Spousal sponsorship and family applications are one of the kind of rights for a permanent resident or a Canadian citizen to have their spouse living with them in Canada. The process has different paths, so sometimes you want to sponsor your spouse that she or he already living with you in Canada. In this case, they will be able to get a work permit and start working till the PR is issued, which is they are living together, they are happily living, and everything is fine. In this case, the processing time is a little bit longer than outside of Canada. If someone is sponsoring their wife or their husband or their common law partner, if they are living outside of Canada, in this case, we need to evaluate their relationship, which is genuine relationship, and part of the relationship evaluation will be happening in the country of the applicant, which is the spouse, who's not a Canadian or a permanent resident in this case. And that is taking a little bit shorter than inside of Canada. So these are the two different paths for a spousal sponsorship when we're talking about living with your loved one in Canada.
As you have immigrated yourself, what advice would you give to new immigrants starting their process?
As a newcomer, when you are coming to Canada, I migrated a long time ago. Maybe it's not too long, but I landed on an old system. Things were a little bit different, but migration is the same thing. Migration is a migration, which means that you're taking your roots out of a place and plant it in another place. It's hard. It's a mental game more than anything. And this is what I always telling my clients and my friend. It's a mental game. You need to be ready. You need to be flexible. You need to be aware of your surroundings. And you need to be open and accepting to change, accepting to starting from scratch, even changing your career in sometimes, which is technically I did that. I was a marketing guy. I was totally in a corporate life. If someone came 10 years ago and told me, oh, you will be an immigration consultant, most probably I'll not believe them. So that is one of the things that I tell my clients and tell everyone, that migration is a mental game before anything.
Have you ever handled a particularly complex spousal sponsorship case? And what made it challenging?
One of my clients, they were the Canadian lady. She came to Canada originally as a refugee, and she sponsored, or she was sponsoring at that time, her husband, who was a refugee in a different country. This was one of the complicated cases because they did the application themselves, and unfortunately, the IRCC website says you don't have to have a legal support, which is technically right, but it's just doesn't make a lot of sense because you don't know the law. If you don't know the law and regulations, it's not all about filling the forms. So going to the same case, their application after a year and a half was about to be refused. And the husband, who is the foreign national at that time, he was in Turkey, and we received what's called a procedure of fairness letter from Ankara Visa Office. And for people who know Ankara Visa Office, it's one of the toughest visa offices outside of Canada. I had to work the application from scratch. I asked the officer, who was really nice, to give us a grace period to let me understand the application and to understand the whole file and I studied the whole file from the beginning. And in about 8 months, I was able to give them approval, and they are happily living in Canada, and they have a kid now.
What do you think contributed most to StayInCanada's success? How has your firm adapted to recent policy changes in Canadian immigration laws?
The immigration outlook is changing dynamically right now, and to an extent that almost every day there's something new. So what we do, first, we keep our team updated. Me and my team, we are always kind of updated with all the newsletters, with all the news. We are part of CAPIC, which is our association. We're part of different other informative groups, being on top of all the information to be able to communicate with our clients and serve them with the right information. This is first. The second, which is we are being the credible source of information. So even if you're asking me about your case, and to be honest, I see that you don't have an option, I have to tell you that you don't have an option, or you know what, your options are really limited. So maybe the outcome of a consultation at some point is, you know, that your options are limited. At least you know where you're standing. So not all the times life is rosy. Not all the times everything is green like a grass, but at a point of time, we have to communicate the ultimate truth. And this is what we do. We're being honest, we're being credible, we're being informing.
How do you ensure each client receives personalized support given the complexity of immigration cases?
So the process in our firm, Stay in Canada, starts with booking a consultation. So you go to StayInCanada.com, book your consultation. We have 3 different tiers of consultations: for immigration, for business immigration, and for study. You book your consultation, you will be assigned an immigration consultant, either me or one of my team members. At that time, we have to spend an hour with you reviewing your profile, your spouse profile, if there is a spouse, understanding all your concern, your background. We're just like a doctor, so we have to go through everything. And when we do that, we have to give you kind of a report or a customized solution with all the things that we need to do, which is a roadmap. Once we decide about that, you retain our services, you have to sign a retainer agreement, and we start with the process. So everything is very systematic and really clear and up to the standards of our college, which is the College of Immigration Consultants.
How does it feel to be listed on 3Best Rated and called the best in the business?
Actually, 3Best Rated is one of the best websites that when they reach out to us about that we have been listed as one of the 3 top immigration firms in the Lower Mainland, we were thrilled about it. I believe, and actually this is my experience at least, it's very unbiased and non-monetary compensation listing. So they never ask for any kind of money or any kind of like donation for the listing or the nomination. And I found out a few of my clients, they found us on 3Best Rated, which is great. I'm really happy that I have been there.